times a year do you make pumpkin pie? Not that often. So when you do, make it from scratch. It's not hard. Plus, I'll show you a few prep ahead chefy tips to set you up for success. We're not using the can. You're better than that. First, we make the pie crust. 1.5 cups all-purpose flour, or 197 grams. Place it into a food processor fitted with the blade attachment. 1/2 teaspoon kosher salt, 4 tablespoons cold vegetable shortening. So you want to cut it into these little teeny tiny pieces. Has to be cold. And 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And you're just going to cut it into little pieces, like that. 2 to 4 tablespoons ice cold water. Take 1 ice cube, even 2 ice cubes, and just plop it in there. You want it to be ice cold. Pull out the ice cubes, and I'm going to show you in real time how fast this pulls together. That's it, that quick. We used 1.5 tablespoons. Now we're just gonna form it into a disc and chill it. Feels super supple. Wrap it up. Place this into the refrigerator to chill and set for an hour. Or you could do it up to a couple days ahead. You can even freeze it up to 2 months. Gently beat your dough. Roll it out, quarter turn, until you roll it into a 12-inch diameter. If it starts to fall apart, stop working. Don't force it. It's too warm. You want to put it back into the refrigerator to let it chill and set. It needs to be cold. 9-inch pie plate. Fold over the edges. 3 fingers. Make a zigzag. Then just crimp the edges. If you take a stoneware dish or any type of pie plate, they can go into the freezer and into the oven. You can do this as a prep ahead chefy tip. So I just rolled it out, formed it into the pie plate. I'm gonna loosely place some parchment paper in the bottom and then wrap it in plastic. Place it into the freezer. Now you got one done. All you gotta do is blind bake it. That's it. Place it into the refrigerator to chill and set 10 minutes before we blind bake it. It'll make it flaky. Take a piece of parchment paper and you need some pie weights. I just use my old beans and I just keep them. So now we're just gonna blind bake it into a 375-degree oven. So we're par cooking the pie crust, 15 minutes. Carefully remove the beans, it's still gonna be very hot, and then reduce the oven temperature to 350 degrees. We're gonna place it back in for 8 minutes. Leave the oven door open while you're removing the beans. That way it decreases the temperature. Get a nice little crust on the bottom. Let it cool while we make the filling. 3 eggs. 3/4 cup sugar. 1.5 teaspoon cinnamon. This is a good time to replenish all your spices. That way they're fresh. 3/4 teaspoon ground ginger. 3/4 teaspoon allspice. 1/2 teaspoon freshly grated nutmeg. 1/4 teaspoon ground cloves. Just a little bit. 1 cup heavy cream. 2 cups freshly roasted pumpkin. I show you how in another video. It's super easy, mind-blowing when you taste it side by side. Totally makes a difference. And it's not hard to do. You can do it. You want to make sure it's pureed, that way it's nice and silky smooth. Into the oven, 350 degrees, 50 to 55 minutes. You want it to be puffed and slightly wiggly in the center. Now we made the whipped cream. So very important, cold, really, really cold. Stick it in your refrigerator, stick it in the freezer, just for a little bit. You don't want it to be crazy cold. Confectionery sugar. You need a pure vanilla extract. Give it a couple dashes. Take your whisk and then give it a little zhuzh, just to get it mixed first before we start mixing. The trick is don't over mix it. I'm gonna whisk it until medium peaks. That's what you want right there. Crème chantilly. It's basically a sweetened whipped cream spiked with vanilla. It's French, because you fancy. In fact, it's in my cookbook. So we're making a crème chantilly, and I serve it with my pecan pie. So in case you didn't know, I do have a cookbook, Cooking with Shereen from Scratch, because you can. And you know what? If I don't tell you, who's gonna tell you? Perfect. Let it cool. Don't rip into it. Be patient. Shanti, cinnamon, because you fancy. It's perfect. The crust is super flaky from the shortening. It's incredibly creamy. Come on, you can make pumpkin pie from scratch. It's not hard. Andre, this is the best pumpkin pie I ever made.
Can I have some?
Yep. Oh my God.
Oh shit.
It's like a pumpkin custard. The crust is Mac Daddy. So good. So good.